Hello my cherished viewers and loving subscribers. Today we will look into the Russia-Ukraine war, how it started, what was done, what's been done, and what will be done in the future. I want you to relax and enjoy this thrilling video. In the meantime, I want you to subscribe to this channel, comment and share it with others. In the shadow of a tumultuous history, the stage was set for one of the most significant conflicts of the 21st century, the Russia-Ukraine war. The story unfolds in a land rich in culture and history, where the echoes of past empires resonate through the cobblestone streets of Kyiv and the vast plains of Eastern Europe. The seeds of tension can be traced back to the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, which left Ukraine as an independent nation. Yet the ghost of the USSR lingered, and Russia, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, harbored a desire to reassert its influence over former Soviet territories. Ukraine, with its strategic location and deep cultural ties to Russia, became a focal point of contention. In 2014, the spark that ignited the flames of war was lit when Ukraine's pro-Russian president, Viktor Yanukovych, rejected an association agreement with the European Union, opting instead for closer ties with Moscow. This decision sparked massive protests known as the Euromaidan movement, demanding a pro-European government. The protests escalated, leading to Yanukovych's ousting and a new government emerging in Kyiv, one that leaned toward the west. Feeling encircled and threatened by a westward-leaning Ukraine, Russia responded with unprecedented aggression. In March 2014, Russian troops without insignia stormed Crimea, a peninsula with a majority Russian-speaking population. A controversial referendum followed, leading to Crimea's annexation by Russia, a move condemned by the international community and deemed illegal. As the situation spiraled, pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine, particularly in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, rose up against the Ukrainian government. Russia, accused of backing these separatists with military aid and resources, watched as the conflict deepened, resulting in a brutal war that would claim thousands of lives and displace millions. Amidst this turmoil, NATO's presence in Eastern Europe became a point of great anxiety for Moscow. The alliance, initially formed to counter Soviet expansion, had been steadily expanding eastward, incorporating former Soviet states and Warsaw Pact countries. For Russia, this encroachment was an existential threat, fueling fears of encirclement and loss of influence over its neighboring territories. Putin's rhetoric intensified, portraying NATO as a hostile force determined to undermine Russia's sovereignty. The narrative of a besieged fortress resonated deeply within the Russian populace, justifying military actions as necessary for national security. As the conflict simmered, the geopolitics of the West became increasingly complicated. In the United States, the 2016 presidential election brought Donald Trump into power. His administration was marked by a controversial stance toward NATO and foreign policy, often questioning the alliance's relevance and commitment to mutual defense. While some critics argued that Trump's rhetoric and policies inadvertently emboldened Russia, there is no direct evidence to suggest he instigated the war. Instead, the conflict was rooted in deep-seated historical grievances, national ambitions, and strategic calculations on both sides that predated his presidency. By early 2022, the situation reached a boiling point. Russia amassed troops along the Ukrainian border, and the world held its breath, fearing an invasion. On February 24, 2022, the unthinkable happened. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, shattering the fragile peace and igniting a war that would reverberate across the globe. The invasion was met with fierce resistance from Ukrainian forces and widespread condemnation from the international community. Sanctions against Russia followed, and NATO allies rallied to support Ukraine, providing military aid and bolstering defenses. As the war intensifies, the unfolding drama is marked by stories of heroism, resilience and tragedy. Once thriving cities now bear the scars of war, and the lives of millions hang in the balance. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is not just a battle for territory. It's a struggle for identity, sovereignty, and the very future of Eastern Europe. The looming presence of NATO serves as a constant reminder of the delicate balance of power in a region plagued by tension and historical conflicts. Amidst this intricate web of alliances and enmities, the world watches intently, recognizing that the fate of nations hangs in the balance. The consequences of this conflict will reverberate for generations to come.